The question is, do you like your cordless ratchet with or without the wrist strap? We've got the EastVolt 12-volt 3/8 drive cordless ratchet. Now let's dive in, take a closer look at this. Then as always, we're going to actually test it, see if it meets the torque claims that they claim. And some other stuff too. Then stick around because we got some interesting ideas with this, or thoughts on this. A representative from EastVolt reached out to us and asked us if we'd be willing to review their 12-volt cordless ratchet that is sold on Amazon. Now, we get those requests a lot, and our typical answer is either just ignore the email or we will pretty much deny the opportunity. So in this case, we for some reason decided to say yes. So we're going to check out and see, is this actually worth buying? So this is the EastVolt 12-volt cordless ratchet. Comes in this kit. I must say that it's a decent case, decent blow molded case. So let's take a closer look here. Okay, looks like a pretty short instruction manual or operation manual. Yeah, that's as short as we've seen. Get that out of the way. Looks like we get a charger, so it looks like it plugs directly into the wall, and then, okay, so this just plugs into the battery and charges this battery. Now this is supposed to be a 12 volt, and I'm a little confused because they claim 2 amp hour battery. However, it says 2,000 milliamps. Well, if we took 2,000 and divided by 12, we're not going to get 2 amp hours. I believe that's going to give us, what, a little over 1.5 amp hours. 1.5 would be 1,800 milliamp hours. So somewhere, so 1.6, 1.7, something like that, but definitely not a 2 amp hour battery on this, and states that it is a 12 volt battery. So we get the 12 volt battery, we get the charger. It looks like we get some additional sockets as well as an adapter, so 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapter. And let's see, are these 3/8 drive? So yeah, these are all 3/8 drive, 10 millimeter up to, what's that, a 15? 17. So you get 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, then the 17. Yeah, so skip the 16, obviously. But anyway, we get the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and the 17 millimeter socket. Let's take a closer look here at the ratchet. Oh, good, we get a wrist strap. That's going to help. So then you don't lose that. So if you're working on this, you pull out that spark plug, you can just let it go and then, you know, pull that out. So that's really nice there. I like that. Better than any belt clip. I am joking if you didn't know that already. So we get a paddle switch here that's more of like a trigger, really not a paddle switch. It's stated on the website that this is some sort of speed selection. I believe that's a trigger lock. Yes, that is a trigger lock. So it is not a speed selection. It doesn't change any speeds. It just locks out that trigger. So when you throw it in the toolbox, it doesn't depress and start running. Let's throw on the battery here. Yep, so there's a trigger lock. Throw that off. It claims, I think, 235 RPM. Directional lever here. Pretty small head on this. And one thing I did notice is very big body here, and then, you know, got a short reach to the anvil. So would like to see this in a longer reach to, again, get that head away from this big body here. But who knows? Maybe it'll end up just fine. We could run an extension or whatever we need, but in those close proximities with where you're actually getting into a small area as well, that might come into being a hindrance to getting in wherever you're needing to get into. LED light, not very bright, and I guess it might shine a little bit of light, but as soon as you let off the trigger, that goes away. They claim 35 foot-pounds of torque with this, but then somewhere else on the same page claims 30 foot-pounds. So I'm not sure if they're claiming 30 or 35. I think the box said 35, but again, if you read the pictures, the text on the pictures, it says 30 foot-pounds and 45 Newton meter. Let's see if it says somewhere on the tool. 230 RPM, 45 Newton meters, and rated voltage at 12 volts. And don't throw away. Looks like maybe a battery indicator here. So yes, so we can press that power button, and it's not powering it on or off, but it illuminates those 3 lights on the battery to tell you the status or the charge of that battery. Length of the tool, you're looking at right at 12 inches from the front to the back of the tool with the battery on there. And then looks like about 2 inches in breadth. And then let's weigh it. With the 2 amp hour battery, or the 1.6, 1.7, whatever it is, 2 pounds, 1.7 ounces. So just over 2 pounds for the tool and the battery. So very light tool, but will it perform? Let's take it over and find out. Okay, we're going to torque these fasteners and then see if we can break them free with the EastVolt. We're going to start with our 1/4 inch gear wrench, torque wrench, and we're going to start at 60 inch-pounds, which is 5 foot-pounds. So let's tighten this one here. There we go. So that's at 5 foot-pounds, and then we'll go ahead and use this one for the 10 foot-pounds as well, which would be, should be 120 inch-pounds. Yeah, so 120 inch-pounds. So now we're going to 10 foot-pounds. There we go. Yep. So 10 foot-pounds on that one. Always return your torque wrenches to the lowest setting before you put them away, like I hardly ever do. Now I'm at 15 foot-pounds. Right dead on 15. Then let's go to 20. Now 25. Okay, now we're ready to roll. We have got all of our fasteners torqued. We're starting at 5 foot-pounds, going 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35 foot-pounds. Now, when we've reviewed ratchets in the past, cordless ratchets in the past, you've heard me say torque is not everything when it comes to a ratchet, and I still believe by that. I believe a cordless ratchet is more of a nut runner than an impact wrench. It's not an impact wrench. Just because you hear it clicking doesn't mean it's an impact. It's not an impact. It's a nut running device. So the end all be all is not torque, but we do want to see where does it end up on the scale. So I'm just going to pull the trigger and let it go. Okay, 5 foot-pounds, no issue. So now we're at 10. No problem there. Seen worse. Now we're at 15. Okay, there we go. So you see at 15 foot-pounds, it's got no chance of even trying to break this free. Now I can help it, and I can start it and throw it on there and get that to break free. So there's 15. So let me try this one again. So you see, but if I give it a little grace and help it, it'll start. So if I let it go a little bit, watch this. See, it's actually allowing that weight of that tool to actually break that free is what's happening there. But if I just hold it still, it does not have the power to do it. But if I let it go a little, there you go. But that's with any ratchet, so that's giving it some help. So at 15 foot-pounds, it couldn't handle it. And at 35, it's the same. But if I let it run just a second, on the bolt. There we go. It'll break that free. So I'm not giving it 35 foot-pounds because it did that. I'm going to give it 15 foot-pounds because that's what it was at stationary as far as torque, what it will deliver, because it's got a cutout that doesn't let it turn. So I'm holding that right there. It's not exactly slow. Seems to run them on pretty good. Anyway, now let's try on a smaller fastener, see if it does anything different. I'm going to go down to 25 foot-pounds. I'm going to torque a couple of these at 25 foot-pounds. Okay, so I've got each of those torqued to 25 foot-pounds, if I can remember which ones they are. And then again, we'll do the same thing. Let me turn this. So hold it still. So you see at 25 foot-pounds, oh, it got that one. So smaller fastener seems to have a chance at it. And again, if I let it run a little bit, it will break it free. But that, again, is cheating the system. It's just like if I'm running it and throw it on there as well. I'm going to go back to 35 foot-pounds. Nothing. 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 Again, let it run. Still nothing. Nothing. Nope. So even letting it run and throwing it on there, it's not breaking free the 35 foot-pounds. Now the last test I want to do is kind of an endurance test, if you will. Not really an endurance test, but I want to test to see, is this ratchet going to hold up to manual use? Because what you're going to do is when that bolt or fastener won't break free, you're going to manually provide input. So I'm going to crank this up to 100 foot-pounds. And if you've ever watched any of my cordless ratchets, I do this one, all of them, because I think that's probably what you're going to do. You're taking brake calipers off or whatever it may be. When it doesn't break free, you're going to provide that manual input till it comes loose. And I think 100 foot-pounds is fair to say. It should hold up to that. Okay, so these three are torqued to 100 foot-pounds. Now we know to break those free, it takes actually less effort than that. But we're going to see, will this actually break it free without breaking it? And I'm going to grab it at the handle. So I'm going to grab it right here. I'm not going to push back here on the battery. I'm going to grab where the handle is. And I'm going to provide that input to break that free. A lot of flex right through here. It did do it. Okay, let's do it again. A lot of flex right here in the head. You can see that. And I'm feeling it all the way through this body. I'm watching it right here, and I can feel it bending right here in my hand. Again, definitely a ton of flex right in here and right in here. You can watch right here. You really, and I can feel it flexing right there. So it did it, but tons of flex through this body. Okay, we're back over here on our bench just because I want to talk a little bit about this before we move on to the conclusion. My recommendation is not based on the performance of this tool. Well, not the power of the tool. It is performance, because performance takes into account ergonomics and strength and everything else. But my point is the power. It really has nothing to do with the power. It's got 10, 15, 20 foot-pounds, whatever it's got. It's enough to probably do the jobs you want. And again, my point is these things are nut runners, not impact wrenches. But when it comes down to actually using this like you're going to use it, all of these tools here are in a totally different category. Now, yes, you can argue, well, these are the professional brands in the space, and that is correct. And yes, these are going to be multiples of the price of this. However, none of these have a problem with that flexing like I saw in this. And I'm telling you, after 10 times doing that, it's probably going to snap in two somewhere in here. And I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just trying to be honest. Is it worth you spending the money on Amazon to buy this? And I don't think it is, even when this may be 3 or 4 times as much. And there's a few tools that are in between these as well that we'll discuss in a few moments. But I just wanted to point out, it doesn't matter which flavor you like or which color, any of the Pro brands are going to be exponentially stronger in the body of this tool than this one is. They don't flex like this one did, and I'm just scared this is just a plastic that's going to break in two. Now let's finish this up. I know we're probably being really unfair with this to bring out the pros in this category, but my point was being that I really don't think it's worth the money, even though this is only 58 bucks. So less than $60, you're all in on the cordless EastVolt Ratchet, but I just can't recommend it because it just feels a little too flimsy in the hand. Really doesn't have the features they say it has, and I'm just concerned without it having a name brand behind it. Any warranty, which by the way I couldn't find out whether it's 30 days, 90 days, or a year. I looked all over the Amazon page, could not find that. I just think it's probably not the quality ratchet that you're looking for. Definitely not the quality ratchet that we're going to recommend at all. So I would definitely recommend a do not buy on this. Definitely worth looking at the Pro brands on this, whether it's a Makita, whether it's a DeWalt, whether it's the Milwaukee. Also like the fact in most of these as well, they've all got extended reach and the shorter reach and they're brushless motors. So they're kind of up in the game when it comes to the cordless ratchets, but you can even find, you know, like a Husky brand at Home Depot for around 100 bucks. These are going to be around that $200 range and a little more when you get batteries. So I get that that's a pretty big gulf in between those two, but still when it comes down to quality and being able to use this over and over, that you're going to pay many times for that quality, and so that's why we can't recommend this. So sorry about that, EastVolt, but just being honest here at Shop Tool Reviews. So check it out for yourselves. We'll have links in the description. Also keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And if you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already? And by all means, if you hated our video or you hated this wrist strap, then let us know in the comments, and by all means, give us that thumbs down. Have a great day and keep smiling.